welcome to the first ever Don't Put That in Your Mouth podcast. I'm Ellen, and I've invited my friend Leslie to come and talk today.
Hello.
We are two moms with music degrees who are making it happen in the kitchen with safe foods for
on
our
a budget.
On a budget. Today we are going to talk about how to avoid buying genetically modified foods, also known as GMOs, when you're in the grocery store, which is very, very hard to do.
It is hard to do.
Because even stuff that is labeled organic is
not
absolutely
100%
non-GMO,
of GMOs.
Right.
But it's a wonderful place to start.
It's the best you can do.
Other than growing your own food.
Right, which
in a bubble.
You pray that your seeds are good. So let's talk about the main GMO crops right now.
Yes. We've got alfalfa, canola, corn, cotton, papaya, soy, sugar beets, zucchini, and yellow summer squash.
And also what has just made it in the news on the list is wheat, which no one has been monitoring. No one's been checking for wheat because there's not supposed to be any GMO wheat. It is not even approved by the USDA. And we know, even if the USDA hasn't approved it, then you know it's bad.
Right. It's bad news.
Okay, so, and you may think, well, I don't eat corn very often. All right, I'll switch to buying organic corn, or how often do I eat soy? But the reality is...
it's in almost everything, especially, the packaged kinds of foods that you buy. For instance, soy lecithin is a filler in almost everything. Canola oil is in almost everything.
Modified cornstarch.
Modified cornstarch. The maltodextrin is made from corn. There's just sugar beets is in a lot of things.
Oh, well, because unless it says cane syrup or cane sugar, then it's sugar beets, and so anything with sugar in it that is not marked as cane sugar is going to probably be GMO, because 95% of the sugar beets in the United States are genetically modified.
Right, and then of course there's the corn syrup.
High fructose corn syrup.
Which is in
these are things you probably don't want anyway. You especially don't want to feed them to your kids.
Correct, but now you have another reason to definitely
now it's like this Franken sugar. It's not all about insulin and weight gain.
These things are making our food Franken foods.
Like our cells cannot even process these
Correct,
things.
they are non-foods.
Right.
So how do we avoid them? Well, we talked briefly about the organic label, so definitely looking for that. Another way just to quickly be able to find non-GMO things in your local grocery store is to shop in the outer perimeter of the store.
Where the fresher foods are.
Right, where your produce and your some of your dairy and things like that. But still you need to be looking.
But produce, squash, and a lot of it is GMO.
I know, that's super sad. So you still need to be reading. You still need to be looking for organic. And the organic labels start with the number 9.
And yes, organic, UPC code, or not UPC, that's music.
Whatever that code is.
Whatever
the code thingy.
The little
starts
code.
with the number 9.
It's
organic.
And also, I just want to say that people sometimes don't even look for organic because they assume it's going to be more expensive.
Right.
But I was just in Target the other day, and I saw they had the Archer Farms
their own brand
tortilla chips that were organic tortilla chips. It was 14 ounces for $2.99, and the Tostitos, which is totally GMO corn, it was 13 ounces for $3.99. So, and they weren't on special. So the regular price for the organic tortilla chips was actually cheaper than Tostitos.
Right.
But a lot of people don't even look at organic because they
think it's just out of the realm of possibility.
Right.
Well, Archer Farms is Target's brand, and then of course Whole Foods has their own brand, 365 brand, and then of course Trader Joe's, pretty much almost everything in their store is their own brand. So,
and they say on their website, Trader Joe's says that they do not use genetically modified foods.
And it sounds like so with cost effectiveness, it sounds like looking at a store's own brand.
One way.
And then, of course, looking at the labeling, looking at whether it's organic, and looking at the ingredients
Publix,
is maybe one way of Greenwise.
Publix has the Greenwise
That's
brand.
That's right. Publix has that. What's the Kroger one?
Does Kroger have an organic brand?
Yeah, they have They do. They have something. I'm so sorry, we don't know that. We'll have that for you next time.
Yeah, they have a brand.
Yeah, Simply something or something.
Oh yes. Yeah. Something with the word simple in it.
Okay, so we talked about shopping the perimeter, looking for organic, reading your labels with keeping in mind the bad guys, the list of bad guys we already gave you, and not wanting to have anything, on the label, like things like, soy, lecithin, corn. But if you've got something organic, like we talked about, even if it does have some of those bad guys in it, at least there's very little of it. There's a very teeny percentage of it that's possibly GMO.
And I want to say, because when I started trying to shop healthier with my meat and my dairy, I was kind of going one notch up from conventional. So when I was at Kroger, I would buy the Laura's lean ground beef because at least that was antibiotic free and humanely raised. And I was going to cage free eggs. And I was getting the there's a brand of chicken, something Harvest, Nature's Harvest or Harvest Land chicken.
That's it. And
Kroger and Walmart sells Harvest Land chicken, and they're supposed to be humanely raised, no antibiotics. So that was one step up, and I felt really good about that. But now we realize that unless meat is organic,
because they're being fed,
the animals are being fed GMOs,
and so they have that within them. And if they have it within them, when you consume them,
you're getting secondary. You're getting secondary GMOs in your body. So it's really tough.
It is tough.
What I've been doing with my family to get good protein is because we don't just have the money to absorb these higher grocery bills. I've been buying good organic meat, but we eat a lot less meat, and I'm purposely seeking out high quality proteins in other ways, really good eggs. And I'm learning that cage free doesn't even mean anything anymore. And I go for organic eggs.
It means something for the chickens, but
well, and even that what they can qualify as cage free isn't even that great. So organic eggs, because that way I know the chickens are not being fed organic or not being fed GMOs. So we're eating more eggs and beans and quinoa.
We are too.
And protein from those sources, less meat, but it's all higher quality proteins.
So that's how to make it more affordable.
And I instead of using a whole pound of ground beef if I'm making spaghetti sauce, I use half that pound, and then I'll take the other half and I'll season it for tacos or something. Just stick it in the fridge, and that way I've got taco meat.
Sure.
And what I'll do to stretch my taco meat is I'll throw in lentils and quinoa with the seasoning, so it's more bulk, but less meat.
Right.
And so I make my meat stretch.
Yeah, that was good. I had some over here the other day. The way I stretch an organic chicken, I'll get an organic chicken at, like, say, Trader Joe's, which, it's got a high price tag of maybe $12 or $13, and you think, wow. But then my family, if I roast it or grill it or what have you, my family can eat that for 2 meals usually, just the meat. One, I'll just do, chicken and potatoes, whatever. Then I'll pull the meat off the bones and have it for maybe chicken quesadillas or something, or chicken salad or something another time. Then I will boil the bones to make bone broth, and I'll boil it for a long time. Well, I will cook it for a long time, simmer it for a long time, and then I will siphon that off and either freeze it for another time, or I will make chicken noodle soup or chicken and dumplings or chicken chili or something that week with that broth.
Yeah.
So you're getting really a lot out of it.
Yeah.
I'll even take out whatever the stuff is on the inside.
Oh, the bag of organs.
The
bag of organs.
The juicy bag of organs, and I will use those. I will put those in for the broth because I'm just going to get more broth.
I'm having a hard time with that bag of organs.
Yeah, I know.
It makes me want to forget.
And you're the one who coined the phrase, or at least to my ears, the meat diaper.
Oh,
speaking of bag of organs.
Anyway. Bad.
But anyway,
and
we
for
digress.
me, another affordable approach is I buy the packages of organic drumsticks.
Yes.
And so you can get a
cheaper.
package for $3.
They're so much cheaper. The thighs as well. The
thighs,
thighs
but I'll get 5 to 7 drumsticks because I get grossed out trying to pick the bones out of the meat.
Right. It's not fun.
But that way, I got my crock pot. I can take my frozen package,
dump it on in there,
crack the styrofoam off the back. I pour water in, I cut up onion and garlic, I add salt and pepper and some celery seed, and I put molasses in to get magnesium to potassium. And then I just let it cook all day, and then we've got this really great meat, and I have a bone broth left over.
Yes.
Strain out the onions, strain out all that, and then I can stick the bone broth in a Ziploc bag and put it in my freezer.
Yes.
And then when I'm making chili or when I'm boiling noodles, I can crack off a chunk of my bone broth
and add it to it. Get that nutrition.
Which is really good for your body.
Make it a more nutrition dense food that you're eating.
Exactly.
Yeah. Another way of freezing broth is in leftover glass jars that you might you might have from like
spaghetti sauce.
But leave a little headspace at the top because it expands when you freeze it.
Thought.
Crock pot, Ellen, great mention, and we'll do another podcast on that.
All about
but do your research because they're not all lead-free.
Right, and the one that I got at Target,
podcast.
the one that I got at Target is lead-free. $20.
Beautiful. Great
$20
investment.
well spent. Okay. Avoiding GMOs in the grocery store. Basically, anything that contains high fructose corn syrup or soy lecithin or anything
the canola
like that.
oil that's in
Canola
almost
oil,
everything.
unless it is labeled as organic,
Right.
or unless it has the emblem from the non-GMO,
The non-GMO project. A perfect example of a brand is Nature's Path. They do wonderful cereals and such. They have that. I'm just trying to think of
And
one
here's
off
a
the
good
bat.
example of one brand. It's a tricky brand. Is Kashi.
Yes.
Because Kashi, you'll have 5 different Kashi cereals in front of you, and only 2 are organic, and the others totally contain GMO. We used to eat Goleen Crunch.
Yeah.
Totally GMO.
The thing is about Kashi, and there are other brands like them, is they put them out. They put themselves out there as being a very healthy brand, and they probably use the word natural in their label and all of that. That's very misleading, and you feel like you can trust these brands, and then you realize, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
there's GMOs.
They're owned by a
you
big
just
corporation.
have to do your due diligence. You have to constantly be. It's exhausting, but you have to be on top of it. You have to be reading those labels.
So let's talk about iPhone apps.
Okay.
Fooducate, Fooducate,
Yes.
is a fantastic app.
It is. You can they have tons of stuff already scanned in there. So
And you
just
can
scan your product.
Yep. And then it'll pop it up and it'll say high GMO
It'll
risk.
tell you. Yep. It'll tell you about all kinds of stuff.
Yep. And then another app is Buycott, BUY Cot.
Mm-hmm.
And that one is, I was telling Leslie, it's good because you can choose which campaign you want. So if you want to support the companies that want to label GMOs, and if you don't want to support the companies that don't want to label GMOs, then it will alert you that the product is from a company that doesn't want to label GMOs, so you should avoid buying it. However, it doesn't let you know if the product has GMOs. For example, Ocean Spray Cranberry Juice, which by process of elimination, I was thinking, well, I don't think any of these ingredients are even GMOs at all. And, it's like you want to buy something affordable. And so, but on the Buycott app, it says, well, you're avoiding this company because they don't want to label GMOs.
Right.
But then on the Fooducate app, it does not say that they contain GMOs. So,
right.
You got to make that choice.
So there you've got a little bit of a battle, like how political you're going to be in that moment, or are you just going to really just want to have a little bit of juice for your son that's not
going to
exactly.
be. Yeah, political or pragmatic. You got to choose.
Exactly. Let's talk about the non-GMO
project?
Yes.
Website.
The website.
It's a great website, nongmoproject.org.
Because there's lots of info.
Yeah, nongmoproject.org.
Good.
And you can look up what is a GMO. You can learn all about GMOs. You can research products. Like even the 365 brand by Whole Foods, not all of their products are completely free of GMOs.
Correct.
But they are working on it.
They are working on it.
So
what
one
was
by
it by
one,
2014?
2018.
Oh, 18. Oh, yeah, that's so much more depressing.
They're going to have mandatory labeling
of
GMOs.
But
at least somebody's trying it. But I can't believe it's going to take 5 years.
That is ridiculous, but it's exciting at the same time, I
Yes.
guess.
So I would just say farmer's market is always a good thing.
Right. I feel like we'll have to talk about that maybe in another podcast.
Yeah.
Like, what are other options?
Right.
What are other things people can be doing on their own?
Right.
Or looking for other sources than your typical grocery store?
I think, yes, just keep in mind your grocery store may have more organic options than you think.
Yes.
Or
they may be much more affordable than you think.
They might be. Or buy them when they're on special.
Mm-hmm. Or know your... Oh, we don't have our Dirty Dozen in front of us.
Oh, the Dirty Dozen.
But kind of like know the ones that are like super important, the produce that's super important to buy organic because they are the ones that are highly sprayed, like peaches and strawberries and things like that.
So there's a Dirty Dozen and then there's the Clean 15.
Yes, we'll have that for you next time.
Yeah, we're maybe actually going to make up a song to help people remember the Dirty Dozen.
That's a great idea.
Okay, well, I think this is long enough for our first podcast.
Yes, thanks for joining us.
The first podcast.
Super fun.
Thank you for listening.